Henry was on his way to pick up a very important person. He'd avoided the mud that Spencer and Gordon were splashed with and had already picked up the royal coach, which he was now pulling. Things were going well for Henry. James was also out and about on his errands. There was a crossing of tracks in a tunnel up ahead, and James stopped at the signal. Henry was coming from the other direction, and he stopped too. Both signals were showing red for stop. The engines couldn't see each other because of the trees, but the signalman ensured that all ran smoothly. But just then, both signals turned to green. James and Henry started together and crashed into each other on the crossing in the tunnel. Oh dear, how could that have happened? I might have known. Tom Moss the prank engine. That was your doing, wasn't it? The search and rescue team were informed and Thomas and Rocky were sent to help. When they arrived, Thomas pulled Rocky into position above the tunnel. Thomas then saw Tom Moss in another tunnel. Realising he'd been seen, he left quickly, heading back to his forest. This time Thomas couldn't give chase. He was coupled to Rocky, and it was more important to sort out the crash. Percy was passing and saw the crash. Thomas called out to him, "Percy, can you take the royal coach from Henry and go and pick up the very important person? I don't think Henry will be ready for a while." Percy backed up to the coach, coupled up, and then left. Rocky started work. James had hit the side of Henry, so he had to pull James out first. Then he moved into position to pull Henry out and put him back on the rails. Luckily, there wasn't much damage. James continued his journey, and Henry started the journey back to the Tidmouth sheds now that Percy was collecting the very important person. Thomas started his return to the search and rescue centre, going past the now empty tunnel. "I'll catch you next time, Tom Moss," he said.
To go to the seaside today, shouted Daddy Pig. "Me," said Peppa. "And me," said George. "I've packed the barbecue in the camper van," said Daddy Pig. Mummy Pig came out of the house with a hamper of food. "Let's go," shouted Peppa. They all climbed into the camper van and off they went. Eventually, they arrived at the seaside. "This seems like a good place," said Daddy Pig. Peppa ran straight down to the sea, while Mummy and Daddy Pig got the barbecue out. George tried putting up the picnic table, but needed a bit of help from Peppa. Daddy Pig unfurled the awning on the camper van to give them a bit of shade. "That's better," said Mummy Pig. "Can we go into the sea now?" said Peppa. They all got changed and ran down to the sea. "Stay close to the shore," said Mummy Pig, and they all waded into the sea. They started splashing each other, having a really fun time. "Where's George?" said Mummy suddenly. They looked around but couldn't see him. "There he is," said Mummy, and they saw George out on the small island. "I told you not to wander off," said Mummy. "It's not very deep," said George. "I walked over, but I'm a bit tired now." Just then they heard a train coming. It stopped by the beach. "It's Dora the Explorer," said Peppa. Dora got off the train. "Is everything all right?" said Dora. "Well, George is on that island, and although the water's not very deep, it's a bit cold," said Mummy Pig. "Don't worry," said Dora. "I was going to have a row in my boat anyway. I'll fetch him back." Daddy Pig told George to wait for Dora. They all helped Dora into the water with her boat, and she rowed across to the island. George jumped in and Dora rowed back. George got out and said sorry to everyone. "I won't wander off again," he said. "It's a bit dangerous, isn't it?" "Thanks, Dora," said Daddy Pig. "Will you join us for something to eat?" "I'd love to," she said. While Peppa and George had a shower, Mummy and Daddy Pig started the barbecue. They all gathered around ready to eat the food and agreed that it had been a really great day despite George's little adventure.
The minions were on their way to work. Knapford Station needed a new signal system and the minions were going to install it. Wait a minute, that's Tom Moss the prank engine, the naughtiest engine ever made. Good morning, Tom. I see you like bananas. What's that? They're a new super fuel for engines. I think you're playing another prank, but I don't know what. I'll see you later. The first minions arrived at Knapford and got to work. More minions arrived. Having surveyed the station from all angles, the first of the signals arrived. The signals were quickly put in place and the second set arrived. These two were quickly installed. With the job finished, the minions left.
Banana.
In the direction of Tom Moss and collected some bananas each.
Banana.
I thought he was up to his usual tricks. What did you get the minions to do for you, Tom Moss? Knapford returned to its normal busy self. James arrived and stopped, and then Murdoch. James left, but then there was trouble. Charlie had been sent down the same track. What a crash! Poor old James. Then there was more trouble. Percy had been sent down the wrong track and crashed into Murdoch. I think someone had put the signals in wrong. Thomas arrived and was very cross. Then he caught a glimpse of Tom Moss peeking out from the tunnel. He realised that Tom Moss had promised the minions their favourite food, bananas, if they mixed up the signals. Thomas steamed off. Tom realised he'd been seen and made a run for it. He was too fast for Thomas and made it back to his forest. "I'll get you, Tom Moss," said Thomas, chasing in vain.
Bash was busy collecting logs on Misty Island, but he didn't notice who was hiding nearby. Right, superheroes, said Batman. A train has crashed on Misty Island. We believe it was the work of the Joker. We better fix it because no one will be able to lift the train back onto the track. Okay guys, let's lift this train back onto the track, said SpongeBob, and his team got to work. Who are you guys? Asked Superman. And why are you doing our job? We are the new superheroes in town. Well, you can't be better than us. We're real superheroes. Okay then, let's put that to the test, said SpongeBob. The first team to catch the Joker are the better superheroes. Deal. Alright men, let's huddle and come up with a plan. If I was the Joker, where would I be? So two of us can fly. If we split up, we'll find him quicker. Yes, Patrick, you did it! We won! Yeah!
Peppa Pig and her family were on their holidays. They were staying in a villa by the beach. We're going to have a barbecue today, said Daddy Pig, and we've got some special friends coming over to join us. Peppa and George were excited. They decided to go on their dune buggy while Daddy Pig lit the barbecue. This is fun, said Peppa. Not too far away, Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse were getting ready to catch the Mickey Mouse Express train to take them to the beach. They'd been invited to a barbecue. The train arrived and off they went. When they arrived at the beach, Daddy Pig greeted his friends. Peppa and George came running to see them. Come and play with us, they said. Daddy Pig told Peppa and George not to go too far away because they were starting to cook the food. Mickey and Minnie went to the water's edge, but nobody noticed George slip away. George was in the dune buggy, but he'd never driven it before and couldn't actually reach the steering wheel. Suddenly there was an almighty splash as the buggy went right into the sea. Everybody looked to see what caused the splash. George, are you all right? Said Daddy Pig. Yes, said George. Just a little stuck. Mummy Pig suggested they get Grandad Dog to pull the buggy out, and Daddy Pig went to call him. Grandad Dog had a sleepy garage in a sleepy town and was very pleased to help. It didn't take him long to get there. He backed his truck into position, attached the hook to the buggy and got ready to pull. The buggy moved easily and was soon back on the sand. "Thank you," said George. Daddy and Mummy Pig went to see if George was all right. He promised not to drive the buggy again on his own. Daddy Pig thanked Grandad Dog and asked him if he wanted to join them for some food. He agreed. Daddy Pig gave everyone a burger and they enjoyed the rest of the day on the beach.
Emergency! Emergency!
Today, it's Batman and Diesel's turn to collect the chocolate eggs, which are all at the very top of really tall towers. Wow, let's see that again. Luckily, the path is clear for Diesel to deliver the egg. Blimey, this is a tall tower. What a crash! It has a strong base, but still no match for Diesel. Let's see that in slow motion. the Batman egg next. Look how high up it is. Diesel moved that quite a lot before it fell. And lastly, the Kinder Egg. I think Diesel needs a run-up. That was a huge crash. Well done, Diesel and Batman. Job well done.
Pig and her friends were having a lovely time at the local park. Zoe Zebra and Rebecca Rabbit were enjoying the slide. It was their favourite. George was watching his boat sail around the duck pond. What fun this is, he thought to himself. Danny was on the zip wire. Whee! This is great, he shouted. The roundabout was Peppa and Deli's favourite. They just loved going round and round and round again. Meanwhile, on the other side of the town, Princess Sophia I was travelling aboard Thomas. He was taking her to join her friends at the park. I can't wait to see them, she cried excitedly. Peppa, George and Danny had climbed to the top of the treehouse to see if they could see Sophia arrive, while Zoe and Ellie were having a lovely time on the seesaw. Suddenly, they heard Thomas's whistle. "They're coming," said Peppa excitedly. Sophia arrived and climbed off Thomas. "Hello," she smiled at her friends. "It's so good to see you. Thanks for the ride, Thomas." "No problem," said Thomas, and he steamed off. "Let's go on the roundabout first," said Danny. "Great idea," said Sophia, and off they went. "What about the slide next?" suggested Peppa. "Definitely," agreed Sophia. And Susie joined them. "Come and see my boat," cried George. "OK," smiled Sophia. "It's a very nice boat," she told George, and George smiled. Just then, they heard a van approaching. "It's Kitty with her new snack van," cried Susie. Kitty parked her van and opened the side, displaying all her delicious treats. Everyone gathered round, and Peppa was the first to choose something. "Please could I have an ice cream?" she asked politely. "Of course," smiled Kitty and handed her one. George was next, and he fancied some popcorn. Sophia also had an ice cream, and so did Candy. With their delicious treats, the friends all sat down to enjoy them. Kitty then said goodbye to everyone and closed the van. But when she tried to start the engine, it made a terrible noise. "What's that noise?" inquired Peppa, Sophie and Danny. "It's Kitty's van. It won't start," cried Sophia. "Don't worry, Kitty," said Danny. "I can call my grandpa. He's a mechanic. I'm sure he'll be able to fix the problem." "Oh, thank you," said Kitty. "That's very kind." Danny called his grandpa, and very soon they could hear his truck motoring towards them. Grandpa Dog got out and went over to Danny. "Now, what appears to be the problem?" he asked. Kitty told him, and Grandpa Dog proceeded to the van. He had a look at the engine and then said, "Oh yes, I can fix that." It wasn't long before Grandpa Dog announced to Kitty that the engine was working again. "Oh, thank you," said a relieved Kitty. "How much do I owe you?" she asked. "Well," smiled Grandpa Dog, "I would love one of your delicious ice creams." "Of course," she replied, and went to make him one. "Lovely," he smiled, and was soon back in his truck returning to his garage. Kitty then followed in her van. Just then, Sophia heard Thomas's whistle. "It's time for me to go home now," she said to Peppa, Danny and George. "I've had a wonderful time. Let's meet up again soon." And she climbed aboard Thomas and off she steamed back to her palace. Thank you for watching our story. To see more, click on any of these clips. And don't forget to subscribe. See you soon!